Hello and welcome to the HomeFirst team. This is the #1 training as part of our new hire training week sessions. You'll get used to my voice, you'll get used to the moderators and the facilitators in this training week. I'm glad that you have decided to become a part of the HomeFirst team. This first training is about agency vision, welcoming you to the team, agency vision and culture. And with that, let's start with some introductions. I want to introduce myself. My name is Janbir Sandhu, and I am the internship and training manager here at HomeFirst. I'm currently on leave, or we've decided to start these trainings through a new online phenomenon through YouTube. I also want to give the chance for the facilitator in the room to introduce themselves and for you all to introduce yourself. So you can definitely put me on pause here and introduce yourselves to each other, introduce yourselves in the experience of working with individuals with homelessness, in working in social services, in any pop questions you have in mind, please do. So feel free to pause me and begin the introductions. All right. So hopefully you've introduced yourselves, and I also want to point out the material that you'll be using during your learning process during the new hire training week. Hopefully you have a pamphlet in front of you with a new hire training week packet of information, some scratch paper for you to take notes on, and an agenda for the week. I want to introduce that on your first page, there is our Bocardo Reception Center, our BRC's address, and our front desk phone number. And as you flip the pamphlet over, there will be important phone numbers for you to keep in mind. These are phone numbers of program coordinators, directors, front desk numbers, shelter managers, cold weather shelter managers, that you need to have in order for you to facilitate your resources and working relationships with our participants. Following that will be the agenda for the week, depending on which week of training this is, where the setting of the training, this could vary differently. So please be mindful of this agenda. If there's any questions about it, ask the facilitator at hand. And after that, there's also scratch paper for you to take notes. And everything here, as you see, is 3-hole punched, and there will be handouts and materials available for the different trainings we'll be going over during this week. So those will also be given to you either in a 3-hole punched way, or a 3-hole puncher will be made available so that you can keep them together and make a new hire training packet for yourself, a place for you to reference and look back to where your training began, and hopefully you'll continue to add to this training binder and continue to grow in your role here at HomeFirst. Next, I want to speak to you about HomeFirst mission, and our mission is to confront homelessness by cultivating people's potential to get housed and stay housed. We strongly believe in this. We believe in that potential that everyone possesses to end their own homelessness and to maintain their housing. We are in the process of hoping that one day we exist in a world without shelters, we exist in a world without homelessness. That's the kind of place that we envision one day. Until then, we are here to support the work that we do, support individuals seeking homeless services. And these trainings are presented to give you the tools so that you have an understanding of how to do just that, how to provide services with good customer service skills, and what documentation to use and what it all means, and help you tie it all together. This training series, along with what you pick up with your program coordinator and what your colleagues teach you, will be a accumulation process, the foundation of learning and building that you'll accumulate here at HomeFirst in developing your skill set in meeting this mission, which is to, again, end homelessness, confront homelessness by cultivating people's potential to get housed and stay housed. Our values here at HomeFirst are of passion, excellence, creativity, responsibility, respect, and teamwork. Each and every single team I can say without any doubt here at HomeFirst carries those 6 values, and it is part of the work that we do each and every day, from every interaction we have with participants and guests to every documentation standard that we fill out and maintain. Our vision here at HomeFirst is that we envision a community in which everyone has a home. I really can't stress that enough. That is a vision that we're working towards. That is the mission of our agency, is to, again, move individuals through a very traumatic time to a place of homeostasis, a place of stability, a place of maintenance. So that's the work that we do here at HomeFirst together. So I want to ask you, how will you contribute? What is your role on your team? And how does your work connect to that larger picture of ending homelessness? Well, it starts here. It starts in training. And as a new team member, you participating in your onboarding training with your team, with this team in front of you, is part of the process. So participating in your onboarding, learning, taking notes, right? Asking questions, asking the facilitator to stop when necessary, raise your hand or speak up and say, hey, can we pause Genevieve for a second? And ask questions and participate in your own learning process. Make this about the skills that you need in order to do your job well. Of course, understanding and learning our employee handbook and our HR processes are a great way of contributing. Understanding what your role is also is defined by the team that you're on, but also defined by our agency standards. And those you can find in our employee handbook and work with our HR team if you need to. You've probably just gone through the HR onboarding a little while ago and have that employee handbook ready. So leaf through it, take a look at our agency standards, take a look at our guidelines, take a look at our policies. And if you have any questions, ask. That is a great way of knowing your positionality as part of the team, as part of the support that you have, as part of the processes of being part of the HomeFirst team. Then as a participating member on your team, once you've gone through the new hire training, once you've gone through your training with your program coordinator and your colleague, you've done your shadowing work, you've put in the time, you're now a working part of the team. We continue our contribution by actively participating in trainings throughout the year. On a monthly basis, there should be trainings either scheduled, emailed out to you, sent out on a routine basis, or you're definitely able to check what those trainings are through the county, through Learning Partnership, through other free avenues for nonprofits, and making sure that you're documenting those trainings. So if you participate in a training in county or on a county that applies to your work, making sure you have a certification of completion and you're scanning that, forwarding that on to our HR department so that they can document and give you credit for those trainings. But participating and understanding those trainings are part of how we contribute, because again, we keep ourselves in a position of continuously learning and growing. Our information is never set. We're always learning and growing, and it is the best way for us to experience our roles and really help facilitate change in the participants and the guests that we work with. Also, by asking questions if things are unclear. You can be a part of a team for a very long time and still have questions, and that's great. That means you're challenging what you thought of a process or of a system and have some clarifications, or some information doesn't match up, and that's a great place to be. So asking questions and continuing to challenge that type of thinking, that static thinking, is a great way of contributing and learning what your place is on the team and how you can contribute. And during the next week, I want you to think about how you can cultivate one's potential to get housed and stay housed, right, in your role. So what is your role as part of the team? What position did you sign up and say, I would like to be of service to individuals who are currently homeless in this role? What is that for you? And how can you help cultivate one's potential in that role? Again, you can pause me if needed to have a lively discussion about this now. If you've got some points you'd like to make, facilitator, please pause if needed. course, if not, we can continue going forward. This is something I want you to challenge for yourself, is thinking about how can I be an active change agent in individuals' lives and helping one's potential to get housed and stay housed. Our agency culture here at HomeFirst, I would describe with these 5 statements that we are built on the grounds of communication, that communication be of genuine nature, that we speak from a place of positive growth and support, and that we highlight teamwork and honesty in all that we do. I would say if you're familiar with the BRC, if you're familiar with the services side of BRC, which is the double doors that you pass through, and you go through each and every one of those offices or set of offices, and you can see that each team has a culture of its own. And that's true across the way with our Sunnyvale Cold Weather Shelter, with our Gilroy Cold Weather Shelter, with our Parkside team, with all the teams, with our admin team up in Milpitas. Each team has its own culture, but I would say these are the 5 points that they have in common: that we have great communication, that we speak from a place of respect, with respect, that our communication is of a genuine nature. Our work of that is in a genuine nature, and that we honor teamwork and honesty in all that we do. It's true for every team here at HomeFirst. And next, I want to highlight that our organization chart and have you kind of walk through and think through what HomeFirst looks like. How do you access this organization chart? It is through Bamboo HR. So this is a link. Also, you can link it by going to HomeFirst Services Bamboo HR site. This is my personal site. So I'm going to log in here. When you're able to log into your own site, you'll be able to see the different aspects of your work, your personal information. This is where your trainings are recorded, and that's what you can see here. And this is also where you would take a look at our org chart. So our organization chart, all I did was up on this menu here, clicked on employees, and our organization chart came up. This is a great way for you to get to know a little bit about the agency. That's something that we're going to talk about now. As you see, Andrea Urton is our Chief Executive Officer. She's our CEO and supporting our work with the Board of Directors, with on each and every individual teams that we participate in here. The next tier, we have Erica Andrade as our Executive Assistant for the Executive Leadership Team, which is here. Stephanie Demos as our Chief Development Officer, and Renee Ramirez is our Chief Operating Officer. Jim Patak is our Chief Financial Officer, and Jess Gutierrez supporting as the interim Chief Financial Officer. His services are on contract at this point, and we thank him for his work. He continues to support Jim in creating and supporting his role. And Carlos Salazar is our Human Resources Manager. And the way that this org chart works is it's very interactive. You see the numbers here. If you're able to click down on a particular person, you can see the different members of that person's team. So as part of Renee's team, he's a Chief Operating Officer, are Maria, the Compliance Manager, Beatrice Ramos, our Director of Supportive Services, myself, the Internship and Training Manager, Teresa Schmitz, our Compliance and Database Manager, Kelly Sumner, our Director of Veteran Services. We do have an open position currently for Shelter Services Director. Then when you click on any one of the directors, you should be able to see their teams. You should be able to see the program coordinators that support the various programs. And if you click on any one of the coordinators' names, you should be able to see their individual team members. And the reason you can't see them now is because my screen is zoomed in. And so if I zoom out and make everybody tinier, you can see the team members' names. And this is just part of the team. We have yet to upload everyone and make sure that the org chart is constantly a live feeding, living, breathing document that we have. But this is a great way of understanding whose team someone is on, if you need to pass someone from one program to another, if you need to connect someone to some resources or understand what a program does. This is a great way of knowing who they are, if you know a little bit about the program, or through the method of using our organization chart on the HomeFirst Bamboo site. Another way of taking a look would be through the employee directory. If you click on the employee directory icon right here, right next to the org chart, it will list each and every single HomeFirst staff member by first and last name and by their work email and work phone number and who they report to. This is a great way of understanding and knowing who is it that you can email. If you know their name, you can search for them by directory here. So you can, I'll search myself. I show up with my direct extension, my work email address, and who I report to shows up here as well. So it's a great way for you to understand all the different members, all of the colleagues who work here at HomeFirst, and how you can get a hold of them, how you can be a part of that team fully. If there's any questions, again, you can put me a pause and ask the facilitator to lead you through Bamboo HR, or you could work with our HR department to understand how to use Bamboo as well. It is a service that we use for hiring and for onboarding as well. So most of you should have a passcode on how to access Bamboo HR. If you do not, please contact your program coordinator, your shelter manager, or the HR department, and they will give you your initial password that you can then go ahead and make your own and access the org chart. Very important to know how it takes us, how you are a part of the full team. Next step. So after this, there's a few things left to do. Of course, there's a quiz. So at the end of each one of our trainings, there's going to be a short quiz for you to take just to test your knowledge if you're paying attention or not to this training. And of course, to continue on with New Hire Training Week, that link, by the way, to the quiz will be sent to the facilitator who will share it with you. You'll be able to do that at the end of your day on your computers, or if they've decided to print it out and have it in front of you, please fill out your name so that we can give credit to the right individual for this training and talk about the results together. Next, after that would be to continue on to the series of New Hire Training Week, to participate actively in all discussions. I want to remind you to write down and ask your questions. Ask your questions to facilitators, to program coordinators, to your team members, and really engage in the learning process. That's an error there. There should be an L. Engage in the learning process. So I want you to, again, leave you with that message of continuing to grow, continuing to support. And I want to thank you for being a part of the HomeFirst team and for starting your journey of learning during this New Hire Training Week together. So welcome, and I look forward to continuing to work with you.